You're 8 years old when you make your first kill. Not because you want to, not because you're angry or scared or defending yourself. You kill because Razor, 17 years old and already missing 3 fingers, puts a rusted knife in your hand and points at the scavenger bleeding in the alley. Finish it, he says. The scavenger's maybe 14. Hard to tell down here in the underhive, where hunger ages you and violence marks your face before puberty hits. He's clutching his stomach where Razor's chain blade opened him up. Red soaks through his fingers. The smell hits you. Copper and something worse. Something from inside him that shouldn't be outside. I said, finish it, runt. Your hand shakes. The knife weighs nothing, but it might as well be a thunderhammer. The scavenger looks at you with eyes that know exactly what's coming. He doesn't beg. Down here, begging just makes it last longer. You step forward. You're bare feet. You've been barefoot for 3 weeks since someone stole your boots while you slept. Stick to the slick metal floor. The knife goes in easier than you expected. Soft, like pressing into fungus bread, but warmer. The scavenger gasps. His eyes go wide, then empty. Razor laughs. Welcome to the Rust Vipers, kid. You don't throw up until later. By then, you've already earned your first scar and learned the most important lesson of the underhive. Everyone's already dead. Some of us just haven't stopped moving yet. That was 6 years ago. You're 14 now, ancient by underhive standards. Let me tell you how you got here. You had a family once. Not a good one. Nobody has a good family in Hive Secundus, Lower Stack, Rust Quarter, Sump Adjacent Zone 7. But they were yours. Mother worked the reclamation plant 16 hours a day, pulling scrap metal from the waste processors. Father died before you could remember him. Something about a gang dispute, or maybe he just fell down a shaft. Down here, the cause of death is usually the underhive. You had a sister, Kella. She was 10. The hive quake hits on a Tuesday. You know it's Tuesday because Tuesday means you get to split a fungus loaf with Kella instead of fighting over scraps from Mother's ration pack. You're sitting in your compartment, 8 feet by 8 feet of rusted metal that 12 families share, separated by hanging sheets of plastic, when the whole world decides to shake itself apart. The sound comes first, a groan that starts somewhere deep in the hive's guts and rises until it's screaming in your ears, then the shaking. Not like tremors you've felt before, the little ones that make dust fall from the ceiling. This is violent, angry, like the hive itself is trying to throw you off. The wall tears, just tears, metal screeching, rivets popping like stubber rounds, and suddenly you can see through to the level below. Someone's falling. No, dozens of people are falling, tumbling into the black where the floor used to be. Kella grabs your hand. Stay! The floor drops. You're falling together, her hand tight around yours, and then she's gone. Just gone. Her scream cuts off mid-breath, and you're alone in the dark. Hitting metal, bouncing, catching on something that tears your shoulder open, and finally slamming into something solid enough to stop you. You wake up in the rubble, 3 levels down from where you started, your shoulder's a mess of blood and you can see bone. Around you, the hive groans and settles. Somewhere, someone's crying. Somewhere else, someone's stopped. You never find Kella. You never find Mother. You spend 2 days digging through debris, calling their names until your voice gives out. Then, you just stop. Because down here, sentiment is a luxury, and you're 8 years old and alone and so hungry. The first week, you try to keep to the survivor camps. The Adeptus Arbites set up processing centers, handing out ration bars to collapsed survivors. You stand in line for 6 hours. When you finally reach the front, the arbitrator looks at you, really looks at you, like he's trying to calculate if you're worth the calorie cost of his attention, and says, citizen identification. You don't have identification. It was in the compartment, 3 levels up, under 1,000 tons of rubble and corpses. No ID, no ration, next. You don't get back in line. You learn quickly. The Imperium's mercy extends as far as its paperwork. You're not a citizen anymore. You're just another underhive rat. You learn to scavenge, picking through rubble for anything edible, tradable, valuable. You find a woman's hand once, severed at the wrist, still wearing 3 rings. You take the rings. You try not to think about the hand. The hunger is the worst part, not the constant ache. You get used to that, but the way it changes you. Makes you think things you wouldn't have thought before. Makes you look at a corpse and calculate how recently it died. whether the meat's still good, whether anyone would notice. You never cross that line, but you think about it. Emperor help you, you think about it. You're camped in a collapsed transit tunnel when you first see the rust vipers. 7 of them, moving through the rubble like they own it. They probably do, down here. Ownership is measured in violence and the willingness to use it. The leaders, maybe 16, female. Half her face is covered in gang tattoos. A serpent eating its own tail, rendered in chemical ink that glows faintly in the dark. She's carrying a stub pistol that's probably older than you are but looks maintained, deadly. This one's still alive, someone says. Razor, you'll learn his name later. Right now, he's just another threat in a world made of threats. The leader, you'll learn she's called Vex, crouches down. Studies you like you're a piece of machinery she's considering buying. How long you been out here, rat? 2 weeks, your voice cracks. Thirst and disuse. Family? Dead. Makes you an orphan. Orphans got 2 choices in the underhive. She stands up. Die slow or die fast. Rust vipers offer a third option. What's that? She smiles. It's not a kind smile. Die useful. They give you water. Real water, not the recycled sludge from the purification centers. They give you half a ration bar. It's the most you've eaten in a week. You want more? Vex asks. You earn it. Territory war's heating up with the Sump Rats. We need bodies. Young bodies are good. You can fit in tight spaces. Run fast. Enemies underestimate you. She tilts her head. What's your name? You almost say your real name. Then you remember. That person died in the collapse. You need a new name. A name for whoever you're about to become. Ash, you say. Call me Ash. All right, Ash. Welcome to the Vipers. Don't make me regret this. You won't. Not because you're loyal. You don't even know what the Rust Vipers are. Not really. But because the alternative is starving to death in a tunnel, forgotten and alone. At least with the gang, someone might remember your name. They don't give you colors right away. Colors mean you're a Viper. Full member, protected by the gang, entitled to a cut of whatever scores they make. First, you have to prove you're worth the ink. For 3 weeks, you're just a hanger-on, a rat. You run messages between Viper territory and allied gangs. You stand watch during deals. You learn the codes, the hand signals, the subtle language of gang life. You learn which blocks are safe and which ones will get you gutted. You learn to navigate by corpse markers. The Sump Rats leave their kills hanging from pipes as warnings. The Vipers prefer efficiency, quick kills, bodies dumped in the sump where the acid pools dissolve evidence. Professional. You learn that violence isn't emotional down here. It's practical. Business. A tool, like a wrench or a Stimm injector. Razor takes a liking to you. Or maybe he just needs someone to push around now that he's moved up in the hierarchy. He teaches you to fight. Not honorably. There's no honor in the underhive, but effectively. Throat shots. Eye gouges. Groin kicks. Where to put a knife so it hits something important. Pain is temporary, he says, demonstrating a chokehold that makes your vision go gray at the edges. Death is permanent. In a fight, make sure you're the one causing permanent problems. One night, Vex pulls you aside. The gang's gathered in their main den, a cleared-out section of abandoned manufactorum, walls covered in serpent graffiti and bullet scars. Everyone's there. 30 Vipers, ranging from kids your age to old-timers in their early 20s who look ancient and scarred. You've been running with us 3 weeks, Vex says. Her voice carries. Everyone stops talking. Time to decide if you're Viper material. Your stomach drops. You've heard about the tests. Different gangs do different things. The corpse grinders make you eat raw meat from a kill. The Cawdor gangs make you recite imperial scriptures while they beat you. The Escher gangs, well, you've heard stories. The Rust Vipers have their own tradition. Razor drags in the scavenger. The kid, because he's just a kid, maybe 14, is already bleeding from a chain blade wound across his stomach. He's crying, trying to hold his guts in. Sump Rat scout, Vex explains, caught him marking our territory for a raid. Normally we just gut him and dump him, but tonight, he's your test. She hands you a knife. Rusted, serrated edge, handle wrapped in electrical tape. It's been used before. There are stains that won't come out. Finish it, Razor says. You look at the scavenger. He's looking back. His eyes are brown. You notice that, stupidly. Brown eyes like your sister had. I can't, you whisper. Wrong answer. Vex's voice goes cold. You got 2 choices, Ash. You put that knife in him, or we put one in you. We don't keep rats who can't bite. Your hand's shaking so badly you almost drop the knife. The scavenger's still looking at you. He knows. He's already dead. You're just the mechanism. Please, he whispers, make it quick. Something breaks inside you, or maybe something that was already broken just finishes shattering. You step forward. The knife goes in. Goes in easier than it should, like flesh is just another material, not so different from the fungus bread you've been eating. The scavenger gasps. His eyes go wide, then dim. You pull the knife out, and he collapses. You killed him. You're 8 years old, and you just killed someone. The vipers cheer. They tattoo you that same night. No ceremony, no ritual, just Razor with a stolen tattoo gun and chemical ink that burns going in. A serpent on your left forearm, crude but recognizable, the rust viper mark. You're one of them now. The first time you take stims, you're 9. Not because you want to, at least that's what you tell yourself, but because the gang's hitting a Sump Rat cache, and Vex says you need to be sharp, fast, fearless. Razor gives you the dose. Just a half tab, full tabs are for veterans. This'll take the edge off, make you quick. The stim hits like lightning in your veins. Suddenly, your heart's hammering, your hands are steady, and the fear that's been your constant companion since the hive collapse just disappears. Everything's sharper, brighter. You feel invincible. The raid's a blur. You're through a ventilation shaft, too small for adults, into the Sump Rat hideout. You unlock the door from inside. Vipers pour in. Stubber fire, screaming, the wet sound of chain blades meeting flesh. You shoot someone, a rat, maybe 12 years old, and you don't feel anything. The stims keep the guilt at bay. Afterwards, when the stim crash hits, and you're shaking and sweating, and your heart feels like it's trying to break through your ribs, Razor gives you another half tab. Just to take the edge off. That's how it starts. That's how it always starts. Your first raid as a full Viper is against a merchant convoy that made the mistake of trying to cross Viper territory without paying toll. Vex is tactical about it. No unnecessary violence, just enough to make the point. You hit them at a choke point, stub pistols out, looking professional. Toll's 20%, Vex announces. Pay up or we take 100%, and you don't make it back to report the loss. The merchant, fat by underhive standards, which means he's probably only missed 2 meals this week, tries to negotiate. Big mistake. Razor puts a round through the wheel of the lead cart. The merchant pays. That's your first cut. 30 throne gelt. More money than you've ever seen. You spend it on real food, not ration bars or fungus bread, but actual protein paste from the upper stack. It tastes like heaven. You're useful now. Valuable. The vipers feed you, protect you, give you purpose. You try not to think about the scavenger's brown eyes. By 10, you've killed 4 people. By 11, you've stopped counting. The violence becomes routine. The Sump Rats push into Viper territory. You push back. The corpse grinders try to establish a toehold near the reclamation plants. Both gangs push them out, then immediately turn on each other. It's all business. Resources are scarce. Territory means water access, trade routes, places to sleep, without worrying about the walls collapsing. You're good at the violence. Scary good. Razor says you've got the gift. The ability to flip a switch and become something cold and efficient. You don't feel pride about it. You don't feel much of anything anymore. The stims help with that. You move up in the gang hierarchy. Not because you're ambitious. Ambition's dangerous. It makes you a threat to people above you. But because everyone above you keeps dying. That's how it works in the underhive. Natural selection with stubber rounds. You're 12 when Razor takes a shotgun blast to the chest during a raid gone wrong. You're standing right next to him when it happens. 1 second he's giving orders. The next he's on the ground, with his sternum exposed. He looks at you, surprised, like he can't believe this is how it ends. Stims. He gasps. In my. He dies before finishing. You take his stim stash and his chain blade. He would have wanted you to have them. Probably. You'd like to think so. Vex promotes you to cell leader. 5 Vipers under your command. You're 12 years old and responsible for keeping 4 teenagers and 1 10-year-old kid alive in a war zone. You fail immediately. 2 die in your first month. The Sump Rat ambush takes out Kane and Licks, both 15, both veterans. You survived because you were high on stims, and your paranoia made you check the vents before entry. The others didn't. Their mistake. You replace them. This is the underhive. There's always more orphans willing to join, willing to trade certain death for probable death with better odds. The weird thing is, you love these people. Not all of them, Vex is a stone-cold killer who'd put a round in your head if you became a liability. Half the gang are addicts, thieves, murderers. The other half are worse. But they're yours, your brothers and sisters in violence. You share food, stims, watch duty, the cramped space of the gang den. You celebrate together when raids go well. You mourn together when they don't. There's Kiesk, a girl your age with burn scars covering half her face from a promethium explosion. She's the best scout you've ever seen, can navigate the underhive blindfolded, knows every tunnel and shaft. She saves your life twice. You save hers once, even. There's Torch, 15, who got his name by accidentally setting himself on fire during his first arson job and just kept fighting, burning. He's reckless, probably brain damaged from Stimm abuse, but loyal beyond measure. He'd die for the gang. He probably will. There's Vex, of course. She's 19, ancient. She's been leading the Vipers for 3 years, which is an eternity. Most gang leaders don't make it past a year. She's smart, ruthless, and occasionally shows something almost like care. When you're sick from bad stims, she's the one who makes sure you get clean water and rest. When you fuck up a raid, she's the one who beats sense into you, instead of just killing you. You're my best cell leader, she tells you once, after you've successfully held Viper territory against a corpse grinder incursion. Don't make me regret keeping you alive. It's the closest thing to affection you've heard in years. You treasure it like scripture. You fall into routines. Morning patrol, checking the boundaries, making sure no one's tried to move the markers overnight. Midday deals, negotiating with merchants, collecting tolls, trading salvage. Evening raids, when most of the fighting happens. Night watch, the most dangerous time, when rivals try to ambush. Between the violence, there are moments of something almost like peace. Sitting in the den, sharing a bottle of rot-gut alcohol someone distilled from fungus runoff. Telling stories, mostly lies, but entertaining lies. Playing dice games for throne gelt and stim doses. Kix teaches you to sing. Not well. Your voice is permanently roughened from screaming and breathing underhive smog, but well enough. Old songs from before the collapse. Songs about Terra and the Emperor, and things that seem impossibly distant. My mother used to sing this one, she says. Then, quieter, before the Sump Rats killed her. You don't talk about your family. That life is dead, buried under 3 levels of collapsed hive. You are ash. You are a rust viper. That's enough. It has to be enough. The stims are a problem. You know they're a problem. Everyone knows they're a problem. That doesn't stop anyone. At first, it's tactical. You take a half dose before raids to stay sharp. Then it's a full dose, because half doesn't do it anymore. Then it's a dose just to get through watch duty. Then it's a dose just to stop the shaking. You're 13 when you first take stims just to feel normal. The crashes are getting worse. Without the stims, everything hurts. Your bones ache. Your skin feels like it's crawling. You can't sleep, but you're exhausted. The fear comes back. The fear that the stims were keeping away. You remember Kella's hand slipping from yours. You remember brown eyes going dim. You remember everything you've been trying to forget. So you take more. Vex notices. Of course she notices. She's not stupid. She pulls you aside after you botch an ambush by being too twitchy, too paranoid, shooting at shadows. You're using too much, she says. No judgment, just fact. I'm fine. You're sloppy. Sloppy gets people killed. Our people. She grabs your arm, points at your track marks, places where you've been injecting liquid stim for a faster hit. This stops. Or you stop leading a cell. Your choice. You try to cut back. You really do. But cutting back means feeling things you don't want to feel. Means being present in a reality that's unendurable. Means remembering that you're 14 years old and you've killed more people than you've had hot meals. So you learn to hide it better. Smaller doses, more frequently. Functional addiction, they call it. As long as you can still fight, nobody cares too much. Everyone's addicted to something down here. Stims, alcohol, violence, the rush of survival. The underhive doesn't allow sobriety. Reality's too sharp, too brutal. You need something to take the edge off, or the edge cuts you to pieces. You're 14 when you realize you're not going to make it to 15. Not a suspicion, not a fear. Just a cold certainty, like knowing the sun will rise over the upper hive stacks even if you never see it down here. The numbers don't lie. Of the 30 Vipers who were around when you joined 6 years ago, only 5 are still alive. The rest are dead or crippled or just gone. Disappeared into the underhive's hungry dark. Of your original cell, the 5 Vipers you led when you first got promoted, all are dead. cane and licks in the ambush. Torch burned to death when a Prometheum tank ruptured during a raid. Kicks. Kicks died saving you. Stepped in front of a shotgun blast meant for your head. She was dead before she hit the ground. You don't cry. You haven't cried since the collapse. But you sit with her body for an hour before letting the others take her to the sump. The Vipers don't do funerals. Too many bodies, not enough time. You're on your third cell now, younger kids, mostly, fresh orphans, desperate. They look at you like you're ancient, wise, someone who knows the secrets of survival. You don't have the heart to tell them the secret is just luck, dumb, random luck. You're alive because you happened to check that vent. Because the shotgun blast hit Ki-Hi Hicks instead of you. Because your reflexes were half a second faster than the other kids. There's no skill at this level, just probability. And probability says your number's coming up. There's a Viper named Grizzle, who's 21. 21. The oldest active ganger you've ever met. He's half machine now. Augmetic leg from a lost fight. Augmetic eye. Fingers replaced with crude metal digits. Scars covering every inch of visible skin. How, you ask him once, late night watch, both of you high on stims to stay alert. How are you still alive? He's quiet for a long time. Then, I'm not. This? He gestures at his body. This is just meat refusing to accept it's dead. One day it'll figure it out. Maybe today. Maybe tomorrow. You ever think about leaving? Getting out? And go where? He laughs. A wet, rattling sound. Upper hive won't take underhive rats. Arbites would arrest me on sight for the warrants I'm carrying. Other territories? Just different gangs. Same violence. This is it, kid. This is the whole universe. The Emperor protects. You say automatically. It's what you're supposed to say, what everyone says. The Emperor don't give a fuck about us, Grizzle spits. We're beneath notice, beneath contempt. We're the refuse that keeps the upper hive running smooth. They need us down here dying so they can live up there pretending we don't exist. It's heresy. You should report him. But who would you report to? The Arbites, who refused you a ration bar? The Administratum that has no record you exist? The God Emperor himself, up in his golden throne on distant Terra, too busy holding back the darkness to worry about one underhive brat? Yeah, you say? Guess so. Grizzle dies 3 weeks later, gut shot during a Sump Rat raid. He's the oldest ganger you've ever known. He made it to 21, you're 14. The math isn't promising. You stop planning for the future because there isn't one. You stop saving throne guilt because you won't live to spend it. You stop rationing your stims because why endure the crashes when you'll probably be dead before withdrawal kills you? This is freedom, in a way. When you know you're dead, every moment is borrowed time. The pressure releases. You stop being afraid. You get reckless, volunteer for the dangerous raids, take point in ambushes, fight like you've got nothing to lose because you don't. Vex notices. Of course she does. You got a death wish? She asks. No. Just realistic expectations. She studies you. She's 20 now, even more scarred than before. A recent fight left her with a limp and a cough that won't quit. She's dying too. Everybody is. Just at different speeds. You want to die remembered? She asks. Yeah, I do. Then keep leading your cell. Keep them alive as long as you can. When you go down, and you will go down, make sure it's protecting something. That's the only honor there is in this place. It's the most philosophical conversation you've had in years. Which brings you to tonight. Sump Rats are pushing into Viper territory, hard. This isn't a skirmish or a border dispute. This is a real push. 24 rats, armed with actual military-grade weapons, someone must have stolen from a guard convoy. Stub pistols and shotguns won't cut it. This is serious. Vex calls everyone in, 23 Vipers, ranging from kids your age to a few veterans in their late teens. You're one of the senior members now. Scary thought. This is it, Vex says. No drama, no speech, just fact. They take this territory. They control the water reclamation access. They control that? We're dead in 3 weeks. So we hold. No retreat, no surrender. We hold or we die. You check your gear. Stub pistol, 12 rounds. Chain blade, functional mostly. Combat knife, sharp enough. Stimm injector, 3 doses of military-grade compounds that'll keep you fighting long after your body wants to quit. You look at your cell, 3 kids. 12, 13, 10. The 10-year-old Spark looks terrified. He should be. You remember being his age? Remember the scavenger with brown eyes. Stay behind me, you tell him. Do what I do. You might survive. Might. Probably not. But might. The Sump Rats hit at midnight. You're high on stems, heart hammering, skin tingling, everything sharp, clear. You can hear individual droplets of water falling from pipes 40 feet away. You can smell the approaching raiders, sweat and oil and promethium. The first rat comes through the choke point. You put 2 rounds in his chest before he sees you. He goes down. More behind him. Always more behind him. Stub pistol fire lights up the tunnel. Chain blades whirring, screaming. Someone, Vex, maybe, is shouting orders. You're moving on instinct now, muscle memory built from 6 years of violence. You empty your stub pistol. 4 rats down. Spark is behind you, doing what you taught him. Stay low, stay moving, never stop. Then the shotgun blast. You see it coming. See the Sump Rat. Raise the weapon, see him aim. You could dodge. You probably could dodge. But Spark is behind you. You don't think. You just move. Put yourself between the shotgun and the kid. The blast catches you in the chest. Impact like being hit by a transit train. Suddenly you're on the ground and your chest is wet and warm and you can't breathe right. Spark is screaming, or maybe you're screaming. Hard to tell. You try to move. Can't. Your limbs aren't responding. There's blood. So much blood, and it's yours. This is it. This is how it ends. You're 14 years old. You've been a rust viper for 6 years. You've killed people. You've saved people. You've laughed and cried and fought and survived against impossible odds. And now you're dying in a tunnel, bleeding out on rusted metal. Just another underhive rat who didn't make it to 15. You can hear fighting still. The Vipers are holding. They'll win. Probably. They'll remember this fight. Might even remember you. You're 8 years old again, standing in a tunnel with a knife in your hand and brown eyes looking at you. Make it quick, the scavenger whispered. You wish someone would make this quick. Spark's face appears above you. He's crying. Ash, stay. Stay with me, okay? Help's coming. Just... Help isn't coming. Help never comes. Not down here. Listen, you manage. Your voice sounds wet. Your name. Tell him. Tell him your name. Make them remember. He's still crying. He'll die too, probably. Tonight, tomorrow, next week. They all do. But for now, he's alive. You kept him alive. That counts for something. The tunnel's getting dark. Not dark like the underhive dark. This is different. Quieter. Warmer, almost. Maybe you'll see Kella again. Your mother. Kix, Torch, Cane, Licks, Razor. All the ghosts of the underhive. All the ones who didn't make it. Or maybe there's nothing. Just darkness. Final and complete. Eternal rest for those who never got rest in life. Either way, you're done. You're 14 years old. You're a rust viper. You earned your colors. And when they dump your body in the sump, someone might remember your name. Ash. You were Ash. You mattered. You mattered. The darkness takes you, and you stop fighting it. For the first time in 6 years, you let go. Welcome to the underhive. Population, everyone's dead. Some just don't know it yet. But hey, at least you died remembered. At least you died a viper. The Emperor protects. But not down here. Never down here.